Good morning, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. This is Sean, and this is the Rebel Files, your one-stop shop for everything Star Wars and the Mandalorian review. Now, normally Josh and I would do a review together. We try to wait a couple of days to let things sink in, give us a chance to watch the episode a couple of times, and that was the plan today. Unfortunately, Josh is at a wedding, and so I'm here by myself. So we're going to do a quick little recap and review. We try not to do a, step-by-step breakdown and all that kind of stuff. We just want to talk about overall about how we felt about the show. And this week, my one complaint, and everybody seems to be universal with this, is that they're just not long enough. We've been waiting for this thing for so long that we want longer episodes. And this one was 30 minutes, and it's a fast 30 minutes because it is a Western themed show, and this particular episode is very action based, and having that kind of side mission that we have on this episode is really kind of leads to the, you get done, you're like, I don't understand why, I want some more. We get less lines from The Mandalorian this time, which is fine because, like I said, it's a more action-packed episode. But what is actually said and done in this episode, I think is going to have... It was a lot of character development. We're going to get a lot more of that as we go. It's going to have a lot more meaning as we go along into the later episodes. There were some things that happened... by the way, this is a spoiler review if you haven't figured that out by now. But the stuff that's been going on the stuff that specifically went on with Baby Yoda has been, in this episode, was really kind of better than interesting. It adds a lot more questions than answers at this point in time. Him getting out of the I've been calling it the Easter egg. The Cadbury egg is a different one. The Easter egg, and him trying to what looks like maybe force heal the Mandalorian after the first initial fight. I find that very interesting because it's a baby. He's 50. He's obviously strong with the Force. By what happens later on with picking up that giant furry rhino thing and stopping him in that charge. But the baby is a lot smarter than I think we had initially thought. Part of that might be because he's 50, but he's obviously in tune with the Force, and I think that's going to play a more important role as we go forward. Also, let's just talk about the cuteness of Baby Yoda in that carriage, in that bassinet, and how the bassinet, the Mandalorian's able to control it with the controls on his vambrace and his forearm, and he's able to push it along, and it like keeping up with him when he jumps on the Jawa's fortress, the rolling fortress, and the bassinet comes flying up behind him. Like, all of that stuff is super cute and super awesome, and I've really been appreciating the dynamic between the Mandalorian and the Baby Yoda. The Jawas can die in a grease fire. Them stripping the Razor Crest and then forcing... let's first talk about the disintegration gun. There was a line, kind of a throwaway joke in Empire Strikes Back that Vader throws at Boba Fett. No disintegration rays this time. And I hadn't even thought about it until he fires that first shot and evaporates a Jawa. And that was like, oh, wow, they went there. Okay, this is Disney. But I love that that's a direct callback to one of the movies. And they did that multiple times on this episode with direct callbacks to the original trilogy. It's just like the previous episode with the Life Day comment about kind of making comments about kind of hinting at the holiday special, and like all of that stuff. And so, but him shooting the Jawas and the disintegration ray, and then him jumping on the sandcrawler, that was really kind of cool. Very Indiana Jones, Last Crusade kind of thing with him climbing up and getting hit with all the debris and everything. That was a lot of fun to watch. The fight that the Mandalorian has with the furry rhino for the egg shows that he is not infallible. It happened earlier with the fight in the first fight with the Bosk race. This is why you normally need Josh, but he's not the end all be all best thing in the world. He has limitations on what he's able to do as a warrior, as a fighter, and that kind of stuff. And that I really appreciate them spending the time in this episode to show that. They kind of showed his emotionalness in the first one with him deciding not to kill the baby Yoda and making a point of trying to make a deal with IG-11, showing his emotionalness there. And this one, you show that he's actually just a guy in really advanced armor. Now, he's a good warrior and a good fighter, but he has his limitations. And that's what this fight with this rhino thingy really showed. And then Yoda, baby Yoda, holding it up with the Force and letting the Mandalorian finally just hit him with a magic shot with his dagger in the side of the head. I'm not going to question that part. I love a lot of the little stuff. I've watched this episode 3 times now, and I like a lot of the little winks and nods and things that we get. You can be a non-Star Wars super nerd and still love this show, but if you are steeped in the lore, like I like to say, you're going to get a lot of these subtle references. And there's a lot more that I'm missing, even though I know a lot of the stuff. But there's still, like, I watched a couple of reviews. I'm like, oh, I totally didn't catch that. So I'm finding that I'm really enjoying the series. I'm hoping in the next episode on Friday that we get Cara Dune. I'm really looking forward to seeing her. And I'm Giancarlo Esposito. I think we're going to get really into the plot of what the rest of the series is going to be. We've set up the Mandalorian, who he is, his limitations, why he cares. He tried to get the Ugnaught, the Nick Nolte I can't remember his name. Damn it. Trying to get him to come work for him. We got it. He's set up. He's ready to go. We've got who he is as a person. Now let's get into the plot, what it really means for Baby Yoda, and what they're trying to do. Are they trying to clone him? Are they trying to kill him off because he's a Force user? All of that questions I want to start getting some answers to. And like I said when we started, I'd like a little bit longer episodes. One last thing I want to talk about before we finish up here on this review of The Child, is what it's called. The internet is all aflame because they keep calling Baby Yoda Baby Yoda. There is no name for the child at this point in time, and using the name of Baby Yoda is the easiest reference for folks to associate it with something. Now, we don't know much about the species. We have Yoda and Yaddle are the only ones we know of that species. But I think if the internet would just calm down for a second and let the story play out. I know I'm asking a lot for the internet to calm down. What am I thinking? What was I thinking? But Baby Yoda is the best answer we can get right now. It is not Baby Yoda, but that's the best explanation we have, for best way to describe what this character is right now. And it is the cutest thing on the planet. I want one right now. I want a floating little thing in the corner where it sits there and floats with me, and every once in a while it moves around and makes some noises, and like animatronic. I have a spot in the corner right there, right there. So I want one. It's super cute. So that is our thoughts on The Mandalorian. This episode 2 called The Child. Let us know what you thought. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Help us out on Patreon. We're also on all the social media stuff. All that information is in the description down below. We also have a Facebook page that we're running. It's called the Great Mandalorian Fan Page. That is also in the description. If you're into the show, please go like that page as well. Help us out by liking all this stuff. That's what we're asking. And until next time, I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. Good morning.